Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ryan James and this is a space where I make art and share it with all of you. Today we're going to be going through some really old sketchbooks of mine this was from 2010 and my style was so different and I'm not sure if I've shown any of these before. I'm actually not. This is when I was going through a phase of deciding whether sketchbooks were sketchbooks or visual diaries and all the stuff in between. Anyway, let's cut right to it and let you know what's going on in these. So these sketchbooks, this one is from 2010 and I think this one is from 2008. So we'll start with the older one first, I think. They're from a time when I was sort of blurring the lines between that was the chair. I shall not be bottom coughing on camera. But yeah, so these are from a time when I was sort of blurring the lines between sketchbook and visual diary, and they are from a time when sketchbooks were I could use them as sketchbooks. I'm very guilty of using sketchbooks as almost finished pieces of art at the moment. So here we go. Yeah, I was learning to do Posca markers with those, and you can see how different my style was. I was a couple of years out of, I think, my illustration degree, which was just not fun. I don't know why Keris Matthews' eyes are in there, if that is her. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is although I do have to say that sometimes when your skill level isn't where you want it to be, you have to sort of rely on some more creative things. Hang on, I think I need to adjust my lighting slightly here, because I don't think we're seeing it all properly. Yeah, so, and you can just see the style of it. This is just biro pen. That's some reference or a card somebody gave me that I liked. I went through a phase of drawing people on their own planets. Again, don't quite know why. I have no idea what I was painting, what I was drawing, but I was still figuring out. I don't know whether you can see that properly. I do miss some of the comic booky sort of stuff I used to do a little bit more of, and I do miss some of these softer. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to show that. That was my friend Maria's wedding dress, and I don't know why I put her next to some dead stuff. She's actually a really good friend. And a giant erupting volcano. I guess I was going for a theme there. Here is River of Bones. That was my old album, bless. And this was an image that I very much liked for a while. And again, I'm kind of realizing I just think I was a bit more creative when I thought that's the benefit of hindsight, though. When you look back at some of the stuff you've done, you do see what your old inspirations are, and that's a photograph I took of some graffiti. I used to draw these paper chains for quite a while. My pencil work is still very soft at this point. And I think because I'm not even sure I could paint that well when I was doing these, which is why I relied so heavily on shading, but putting origami animals and things like that into my work was just part of how it went for a while. This I liked. I still like, actually. And he might make it to a canvas at some point. I'm kind of jealous of my old style. I'm not even sure you can see half of that stuff. I'm trying to make sure. Oh God, I shouldn't do this on camera. And again, all cartoony bits and pieces. I miss him. All soft, didn't even finish it. I went through a phase of not drawing eyebrows and giving my characters really tall foreheads. I think I was working through my receding hairline back then. That was a design for the very first canvas I ever painted, which did not come out well, but I have always wanted to repaint it and see what I could do with it now. And I think I'm going to do that. Might be a good little vlog for you, actually. This is the part where it becomes a little bit of visual diaries. And Chun-Li. I went to a local comic book club for a while where they would sort of, we'd all draw together, and I do miss that kind of thing. It doesn't happen anymore, sadly. But yeah, that's why I think some of my earlier style was a bit more comic booky. That was going to be a postcard, but I never quite got round to it. This you probably have seen if you've been on my channel long enough. This became one of my very first paintings that I was actually proud of. But again, because my painting skill wasn't where it is now, although I've still got lots of work to do. I'm not gonna put myself down, but that does need some work. It does need. I would like to repaint that again. I did a different version of it recently, but maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of falling in love with my old style again. Quaint and quirky and a bit more interesting, a bit more intricate. I do tend to draw a lot. My figures are a lot darker now. That should be a canvas as well. I suppose when you look back at old work, you sort of think about how you used to think as well. And this is an exercise in shading from university. And I was quite proud of that at the time. It was one of the first times I actually thought, ooh, I may be able to draw. So, yeah. Very much little bits here and there, I'm not sure. Yeah, see, quirky, illustrative. They weren't as dark as the work I make is now. And there's, like, why is he holding a light bulb? And, yeah. Oh, that, I think, was a copy of a Brian Froud book. Again, because I couldn't paint, I would rely on things like tea staining and burning stuff. And using those stamps from Hobbycraft, which, if you're from the UK, if you're from America, that's kind of like a Michaels for the UK. This ended up becoming a painting, a small painting, which never sold. But I might show it at the end, maybe. Who knows? Again, just gathering reference. This was before Pinterest was a thing, I think. So you had to actually go out and find magazines to cover stuff, and find pictures and online yourself, just digging through people's MySpaces and seeing what they were making and just adding them for your reference collection. I don't know why he has wonky eyes. I think I was trying to do a theme of sort of curling horns, but there we are. I think he was meant for a postcard as well. I'm not entirely certain how well you can see him if the camera focuses. He's a little angel holding a, give the camera time to refocus, little angel holding a hedgehog. Another fairy. See, just this is parts where it blurs. Yeah, this must have been quite early because I just met my husband there. He was my boyfriend at that time. This is me learning. I had just started to pick up Pro markers, which are kind of the cheaper version of Copics. This is my first discovered markers, really. I haven't really stuck with them, if I'm honest, but they are good for my comic work, which is one of the many other things I'm rebooting this year. And I think that's why I'm looking back a lot of old stuff, because there are old, yeah, that became that. They're the old threads that I need to pick up again, and old threads that I need to start doing. I think this is from an actual different sketchbook. I don't know how it ended up in here. The day we rescued jellyfish. Oh yeah, my husband saw some beached jellyfish on the we live next to the beach, and he decided that they were still alive and needed to be rescued. So we were trying to tactfully maneuver them back into the sea. Again, playing with the idea of visual diaries. I don't know why there are bats there. Okay. Wow. God, this is old. Old ideas, the flatheads. If you do want to see any of these sort of developed or worked on, I'm open to critique, I'm open to collaboration. If anybody has any ideas for me, I'm always open to seeing where they can go. This was a collage project. We had to do a project in, oh God, it was my first year of university, where we had to choose African masks. I'm not sure how politically correct that would be today, but we had to do some collage work on them, and that was one of my favourite pieces for a while, using lino print and collage. Oh, look at this little dude. See, I don't make little characters like that anymore. Yeah, but that's the thing. Before you take a step forward, it's always handy to take a little step back, isn't it? Just to see where you've been. Half of this is back in the day when I used to let sketchbooks not be completed. It's all fun and games. Okay, so that was that here, and now we're going to go on to this one, where it was definitely more a visual diary than a sketchbook. Yeah, again, this is my old style. If you've seen any of my old stuff, you'll know the difference of it, but it was a lot softer, and I suppose that's something I want to take forward maybe a little bit. We'll see. Oh God, this is falling apart. Yeah, this is more comic booky, more quirky, more strange. That actually I posted and ended up becoming an album cover for a different dude. Oh, and I can always experience love. That's when I was manifesting my husband. So this must have been earlier than the last one. I've got the dates wrong. Okay, yeah, but yeah, I was manifesting him and understanding that I didn't need a person in my life to experience the feeling of being in love. I could be in love with myself and be in love with my life and be in love with the people around me, and well, it worked because I met my husband. Yeah, a lot of ideas going on there. Yeah, see it. The story is I painted a picture of me and my husband before we met, but these were the many little sketches I did of that before that painting took shape. And I've always said I've wanted to redo that and repaint some of that. So I think I'm going to. I used to put my poems in here, in my things as well. I've written hundreds and hundreds of poems, and it's definitely something I'm looking to share in the future. Yeah, you can see me starting to get into the creepy stuff here. But again, God, this is a reminisce. That was a poem that ended up as an introduction to an album I was doing back in the day. I don't even know where that album is right now. Okay. That became a painting that I gave away. But again, something I did try to paint this up at one point, but it didn't work. Because I think this is actually acrylic paint on just paper, so it didn't take so well. And but again, I like the idea, and that might be a nice little, yeah, I've got to revisit this style. I've got to. And that's me and my husband I wanted to, oh God, which way am I going to hold this up? I wanted to meet myself a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Cancerian. I love the Cancerians, okay? They're really soft-hearted, and I wanted some of that energy in my life. And he is blonde-haired, blue-eyed Cancerian. But yeah, I had just some of this stuff, some Eckhart Tolle. I was very much getting into my law of attraction. Definitely way more poems. The whole world isn't going to come to a complete standstill if I don't finish one picture. Again, I think, as I spoke about in my reboot and my reintroduction, this was something that was definitely around the pressure I would put on myself to even finish a sketchbook page, even when they look like this. God, I was trying to figure out placement and all of that sort of stuff. That's kind of sweet. This is again one of those lino prints that I used to draw into with pen and some Prismacolor pencils. Again, I do think when my ability was less developed, I had to rely on my creativity a little bit more in order to sort of get these things out there. Or I'm not sure, that's from some comic booky stuff that I was working on years ago. That's really old. I think that I don't even know why that's in this sketchbook. Another one of those collages. Oh God, oh God. Can this be held up to the camera? Nope. Let's try it this way. Maybe. We shall see. We shall see. This is such a mess. But if this is what sketchbooks are supposed to be, I don't know. Little kitty. My sketchbooks right now, they're definitely much more their own finished pieces. This became an album cover for a while and is not even remotely inspired by the Gorillaz. If you're from the 90s, you'll know what that is. But yeah. This is also much. It's going back through old stuff. Old stuff. That was you see, I'm learning to paint there, trying to figure out how I can get the detail in without, but I didn't understand skin tone or anything like that. Little comic books, all silly stuff. And that's, like I said, that is something I'm rebooting right now, but God. And there's me figuring out some designs for album covers. There's nothing else in the sketchbook. Okay, that's done then. That's finished. That was a trip down memory lane, and for me, the perfect segue, I suppose. After this whole year off, I'm taking a little bit of a look back into my history, a little bit of a look back into how I used to think about art and how I used to think about making before I stepped forward into making more stuff and sharing more stuff with you. But yeah, like I said, I'm open to collaboration. I'm open to anything that's fun and anything that's in here that you think I should develop a bit more, or that you would love to see me develop a bit more. I honestly would appreciate some of the ideas. I'm open to it. So yeah, let's see where we go from there. Other than that, it's been lovely sharing with this with you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Oh, and here is that painting that I was going to show you earlier. I'm hoping the camera picks it up, because yeah. So this is that one again. First learning to paint. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I shall see you again soon. I genuinely keep forgetting to tell all of you to please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a bad YouTuber.